Why do you want to share your story?
I want to share my story because there's a huge injustice going on, and it's not fair that the veterans are getting treated like this, that our quality of life is diminished. Thousands upon thousands of troops' quality of life has been diminished, and how many hundreds of troops have lost their lives post war, post coming back. You don't have to be a casualty of war and have died on the battlefield. I'm becoming a casualty of war because I was deployed to Balad, and now I'm fighting cancer. And so I want my story to be heard because there's so many people out there that are in my shoes right now who don't have a voice to speak, either because they're too sick or because they are gone already, or because they don't have a means to do it. And so that's why I'm doing this, is because the government needs to they need to take responsibility for their actions. There needs to be repercussions for this. The benefits need to go to these veterans. They need to get the medical and the monetary help that they deserve. Hi, my name is Jennifer Kepner. I was a staff sergeant in the United States military, and this is my story.
When did you serve in the U.S. military?
I served in the U.S. military from May 2001 until August of 2007.
When were you in Iraq?
I was deployed to Iraq January 2006 until May of 2006.
Where were you based in Iraq?
I was based in Balad Air Base.
What were your duties while you were in Iraq?
I was a medic, but our job was very specific to treating the troops that were getting ready to go off to the next level of care. So the patients would come from the hospital, and they would come to my hospital where I was a medic, and we maintained their stability and got them, I hate to say the word packaged up, but get them ready with all of their bandages and their belongings and everything that they need for their trip to, and their medications, and to get them to their trip to Germany for the next higher level of care, because we were only able to do so much when we were in the desert.
Did you have any pre-existing conditions before serving in Iraq?
No, I did not. You cannot even go into the military with a migraine headache, let alone get deployed with a wisdom tooth. So they make sure that if you are going to go into a combat zone, that you are combat ready. So no, I had no pre-existing condition, and I was not sick at all.
When were you diagnosed with pancreatic cancer?
I was diagnosed July of 2016. So I went in for surgery. It's called a Whipple. It's basically a 10-hour surgery where they remove part of my stomach, the part of my small intestine, the 2/3 of my pancreas is gone, and my gallbladder, and then they put everything back together. And I had at least 3 months of recovery time to where I could barely eat. I lost 40 pounds. And then during that time, actually it was 6 weeks post-op that I had to start chemo, because even though I had clean margins on my tumor, my lymph nodes were affected. So I was on chemo for 4 months, and everything was going good. We thought everything was cleaning up nicely. And then I had another CT scan, and that's when they had discovered that the cancer had metastasized to my liver. So pancreatic cancer has pretty grim outcome to begin with. We are given a 3% 5-year survival rate. And then when it metastasized to my liver, in February, when I got those results, I asked my oncologist, and he gave me a 6 to 12 month timeline. And so that's what I've been fighting, and that's what's so frustrating, is that my quality of life will never come back. I will never be the person that I was before. I will never be the person that I was when I was deployed. Every single day I wake up and I'm just happy that I woke up, and I can kiss my kids on the head and say, I'm here for one more day. And then I kiss them before they go to bed, and I thank the Lord that I was given another day with them.
Did you ever think your stay in Iraq might be related to your cancer diagnosis?
Yes, definitely. Early on, it didn't occur to me. But early on, it was such a whirlwind of, I didn't even know what was really going on. And then there were so many unknowns when I was diagnosed, and the biggest one was, you know, here is this young, healthy, 38-year-old, fit mother of two who never abused her body in any way whatsoever and exercised. I was a CrossFit coach. I worked full-time in a hospital. I was not your typical person to get this. And so it wasn't until we ruled out everything. I have no family history of cancers, no family history specifically of pancreatic cancer. No, all of my genetic markers came back negative, so there's no genetic predisposition to have this particular cancer. And so the last final thing is that it's environmental, and I am 100% certain that it was during my time that I was deployed into Balad and being exposed to those open air burn pits.
What are burn pits?
Burn pits were basically big open areas that they dig out, and they throw all of our garbage into them. They would then add some sort of igniter and jet fuel, JP8 or some sort of jet fuel that would keep the fire going, and everything from medical waste to the kitchen trash to whatever trash we had would go into the burn pits, and it was a 24/7 operation.
Were you exposed to burn pits while serving in Iraq?
Yes, I was. I was exposed to them, but I was not fully aware that I was exposed to them. When you are deployed to a combat zone, and I was a medic, I went over there, I did my job, I watched out for mortars, I basically just tried to, help my fellow troops and do my job and try not to get killed by incoming fire. The last thing I was thinking was, I wonder if that big plume of smoke over there is legal. I wonder if the government is looking out for my air quality. You go over there, you're already under a lot of stress, and you're trusting that your government is taking care of the simple basic necessities that are needed, and clean air and water would be one of them, I would think. And they failed us miserably on that because of the open air burn pits.
What are some of the things you threw away while in Iraq?
We threw away everything that you would throw away in your regular household, except we didn't have recycling. We didn't have everything that was medical waste, everything that was my plastic water bottles, to old clothes, old uniforms, uniforms that would get damaged while I was over there, everything. everything got thrown away.
When did you enroll for veteran medical benefits?
I attempted to enroll the second weekend of April of this year.
When did you receive the enrollment decision letter?
I received the letter about a month later, so I received it just about a week ago.
What did the enrollment decision letter say?
The enrollment decision letter denied medical benefits based on a couple criteria that don't make any sense to me, but one of them being that I enrolled after January 17th of 2003, which doesn't make any sense because I deployed 2006. So the letter doesn't make any sense. But they put me in priority group 8 because that's where they felt I was best fit. And so with priority group 8, you are not accepted for enrollment, basically, is all it says.
How many priority groups are there?
There's 1 through 7, and the VA will continue to enroll veterans assigned to priority groups 1 through 7, but I'm in priority group 8 because that's where they placed me. I'm not seen as a priority, I guess. After I got out of the military, I was a reservist, and so I always had my own access to healthcare through my primary employer. I was never told to enroll into medical. I never needed it. I wasn't gonna use a resource that was already tapped out, and I didn't need it. I wasn't gonna do that. I know that the need was gonna have to go to someone else, and I had access to my own healthcare. I mean, granted I paid for it, but I had access to my own healthcare through my employer, my own civilian employer. So that's why this makes it really frustrating right now that here I am needing these resources that I've never used before. I've never asked for anything, and I get denied. I get denied to even go into the building and get an appointment to even see anybody.
How can people find out more about your story, and where can they find out more about environmental hazards veterans have been exposed to?
Social media has been the best resource so far. So if you go onto Facebook and you look up Burn Pits 360, they have a great page that documents a lot of what's going on in the burn pit field, the research and the stories, the troops who've been affected by it. You can go on to that Facebook page, Burn Pits 360, and look them up. And even just Googling burn pits, Iraq, veterans, any of that, and you'll start to see documentaries and all sorts of stuff. You can go on YouTube and look up burn pits Iraq, burn pits Afghanistan, and the information is out there. You just need to know that this is something that is going on and is a really big deal.
After everything you know and have experienced, is there anything you would go back and change?
My time spent deployed was one of the most rewarding experiences of my life. The lessons learned, the things I saw, the deeds I did, the good deeds I did, the people I helped, the troops I was able to help, the lives that I helped save. Those all mean so much to me, and it's still, that time still feels like it was just yesterday. It's so close to me and so near and dear to my heart. The problem is that I would take that time, makes my heart skip a beat thinking about it. I would take that time away in a heartbeat so that I could spend more time with my children on this earth, which I'm not. No one has a timeline. Only God knows. But if I could spend more time on this planet with my children, not sick, I would give up that time for sure.